Hey guys, I'm Nati. I'm the founder of Hyperspd, and I'm here to give you guys in the community an update as to what's been going on. So let's see. So let's switch over. Okay. So at Hyperspeed, what we've been doing for the last few months is, well, back in October, what we did was we did our pre-launch campaign where we started receiving reserves for our bike, the CR5. You can see the CR5, at least a part of it, on the screen, and yeah, and then we got a lot of information and a lot of great feedback, and from there we started going to investors and talking to them about funding Hyperspeed. So let's see here. Oops. There we go. So yeah. Oh, by the way, sorry it took a long time to make this update video for you guys. I mean, it's been a couple months, but I'll tell you, like after we did the pre-launch campaign, we started going immediately talking to investors. So I went out to Austin, and I went to places like Capital Factory and a couple other funding houses out in Austin, and we're talking and pitching Hyperspeed. And the reception over in Austin was amazing. People saw it and they thought, hey, yeah, this is great. We even had people who were hardware experts saying like, they looked at the business, they looked at what we needed, and they're like, yeah, all they need is this money, and then these guys are good to go. So that was awesome. Now, the thing about investment is it takes, it's not like Shark Tank where like, they fight over you and they decide to invest into you right there on the spot and you get the money right away. It doesn't work that way. It usually takes a couple months. But let me get into it. But first, let me talk about Hyperspeed a bit. So what we're doing right now is, here, let me make this smaller. Okay, there. So what we're doing at Hyperspeed is we're raising a $2 million round. And this round is for us to get our bikes into the US and to sell them. Now, if you don't know too much about Hyperspeed, what we are is like, as you can tell, I'm an American. So I was born and raised in the US, and I moved out to Thailand a couple of years ago. No, more than a couple of years ago, over 10 years ago. Moved out to Thailand, and so, and yep, I mean, here, hold on. This is better. So let me explain more about myself. So I was born in Chicago, grew up in California, and then I used to work out in Silicon Valley for a time. I went to UCLA. I was originally like a systems engineer, or no, I started off as a database administrator, and then a systems engineer, and then doing network engineering. And then moved out to Thailand. And for the last 10 years, I've been running this place called Makerspace Thailand. You guys might have heard of makerspaces. They're like places where people come to use tools. For me, yeah, we have things like 3D printers, laser cutters, and CNC machines. What makes Makerspace Thailand a bit different is that, yeah, I treat it more as an innovation shop, or an innovation space. So basically what we have is we have a whole bunch of people, members, the community coming in, and then we have all these tools. And usually a lot of places, they try to run their maker spaces like a gym, whereas like you buy membership and you use the tools and then you're done and off you go. For me, it's all about community building and how we can leverage the community. I have a background I used in facilitation, and particularly in innovation and creativity. I was trained by the Lego Corporation in this thing called Lego Serious Play. It's like where you can use Lego as a facilitation tool. The guy who trained me, he's the guy who invented LSP, or Lego Serious Play. And let's see, they use, for example, they use Lego in NASA after the Space Challenger blew up, to map out all of NASA and then to reorganize it and to re-engineer NASA so like things like that would never happen again. Anyway, so I come from that background. I've also been working in the startup industry for like 20 years. So yeah, it's been a while. Anyway, let's see. So let me move this so you can see the rest of the team. Other people, let's see, we have people on the team that helped us build the CR5 and also to run the business. They come from all sorts of backgrounds. Most notably is the automotive people. So like we have people that worked at Tesla and Rivian, and a guy that worked at Ford, and also so from the automotive side, we have like engineers and project managers, supply chains, and stuff like that. But on top of that, we also have other people. For example, we have someone from Nielsen. If you guys ever heard the Nielsen ratings, yeah, Nielsen. So Nielsen's one of the largest market research firms in the world, and from there we have a consumer insights expert. So what that means is it allows us to understand what customers want to a fine degree, so that when we're building things, we can make things with customers in mind. On top of that, we also have a partnership with an electronics factory to make all of our all the cool little electronics that go inside of the CR5. So stuff like that. Anyway, let's see. Boop. So what we did was we ran a prelaunch.com campaign, as you guys may or may not know. This was back in October, and it was really, really successful. We spent $3,000 in ads, and we were able to generate $70,000 worth of value from reserves, which is pretty darn good. On top of that, usually like click-through rate, which means like think of the marketing funnel. So in the marketing funnel, like people need to be aware of your thing, and then they move down to purchasing. So in the beginning of the marketing funnel, there's things like click-through rate, where people see your stuff, they get exposed to it, and then they click on it. So usually the click-through rate for a normal product is something like 3%. And what we were able to achieve at Hyperspd with the CR5 in the United States was 9% click-through rate. So triple the benchmark, which is freaking amazing. That what we show, like the interest in the CR5 is quite high, and people really love what they see. Like the design is super compelling, so they love that. On top of that, we were also able to achieve about 1,400, more than 1,400 feedback responses for people who wanted to know more about the CR5, and they gave us great feedback. They're telling us, okay, what do they like about the bike? What do they not like about the bike? What would it take for us as Hyperspd to get them to buy the CR5? So this stuff is really good information. And on top of that, usually like for something like a market research project, you would see something more like maybe a few hundred people give feedback, and us crushing it with over 1,400 people for such a little ad spend was really good. So very happy by that. And what we learned was about the CR5 is stuff like this. What the feedback we got is that, well, first of all, like the speed. Oh, sorry. Let me move this back. Sorry about that. So the speed was something that people really liked. So something that people really liked. The performance of the bike. They loved the range of the bike. Everything about it they liked. Also, they loved the fact that due to our computer control system, we're able to adjust the power and the speed of the bike to comply with local laws. So we can make it so it's legal in any jurisdiction. So that's nice. Let's see what else. People loved features like our onboard EV charging. Because usually what we saw in other bikes out there is that for some reason you have to use a power brick to charge up the bike, and we're like, that doesn't make much sense. For us to include onboard EV charging, so you can go to any station to top up the bike, is something that people really liked. So and our research showed that. On top of that, we're making the CR5 out of motorcycle parts. So like the suspension and the wheels and the tires and all the little bits and bobs for the CR5 are made out of motorcycle parts. What this means is like these things are more durable. They tend to be of much higher quality than the normal bicycle parts that you're seeing on e-bikes. And also, it means that you can bring the CR5 to a lot of motorcycle shops. And this is stuff that they've seen already, and it's easy to find parts. So it tends to be pretty easy to repair. These sorts of things is like what people really like. Again, shown through our research. On top of that, we also created the Hyperspd Black Box Sentry anti-theft system, and this means we created this thing because we also saw that bike theft is something that's really huge in the States. So like, for example, like there's a bicycle that is stolen every 30 seconds. So that means like 2 million bikes a year are stolen. And it's one of the big things that prevents people from buying e-bikes because, you know, if you're spending several $1,000s on a bike, you don't want it to be stolen when you're not around. So we created a black box sentry. What that means is like we have it hooked up to mobile alerts and tracking. We included like an eSIM on board. It has GPS and it has alarm system, and all of this connects to your mobile app. So if anyone tries to mess with your ride or anyone tries to move it, basically you'll be alerted. And on top of that, if anyone does manage to move it, then you know you can track it, and more importantly, unlike an Apple AirTag, you can share this location with law enforcement so that they can hopefully recover your goods or recover your ride. And on top of that, let's see, we included electronic wheel mobilizer. So the bike weighs like 65 kilos, so that's like 140 plus pounds. So you know it's not like you can just pick it up and walk down the street with it. When we lock the wheel like this, it means like you have to physically drag the bike away. Now, yeah, a couple dudes could probably pick it up, but because of that, you would automatically be alerted through your phone, and then you can track it, and then you can intervene if something were to happen. On top of that, we included this fingerprint ID sensor. So it's just like the same tech that you see on mobile phones. So essentially, like instead of like a key fob or a key or like what is it, or just like a lot of bikes, they have an unsecured power button, which makes no sense to me, but okay. So yeah, instead of that, we have fingerprint ID. So then you can use your just use your finger to activate the bike. So a lot of these things really resonated with people, and and we're really happy that the community really enjoyed these things. Now, one thing that was said to us though is like, okay, well, because we've been offering the CR5 at a price point roughly about $5,000. We are experimenting with a couple different price points actually, but the vast majority of you guys out there reserved it at $5,000, which is great. It's cheaper than like some of the other high performance offerings out there, but we're like, okay. We were seeing a pattern of there's a lot of people, they would love to reserve the bike. They want to buy the CR5. They think like this stuff is amazing. But everyone's saying, not everyone, but the vast majority of the people out there from the feedback are saying, well, okay, they would like to see something a bit cheaper. Like $5,000 is okay, fine, but if they can get it like something below $4,000, they would be totally cool with it. So what we've been doing over the last few months is doing engineering studies at Hyperspd on the CR5 to see, okay, how can we get it below 4,000? And I'm happy to report that we found a way. So now, instead of $5,000, what we can do is we can offer the CR5 at a price point of $3,900. Thankfully, there's not much that we have to do in terms of the frame for the bike. What we were able to do is find a different battery technology called LFP. It's lithium iron phosphate. And because this battery, it's about half the price of the 18650 cells that we've been putting in the CR5, and that a lot of e-bikes are using out there. And we're going with this because one, it's just cheaper than the 18650 cells, so that's one. Um, Two, the LFP batteries are also inherently more stable. 18650 cells, when they go up, like if there's like a problem with them and one catches fire, these packs tend to go into thermal runaway, so the whole entire thing goes up, and it's kind of dangerous. Another thing that we saw is like a lot of people were concerned about EV fires, which justifiably so. I mean, we can talk about how the CR5 pack is made out of quality cells and how it's put together really well, et cetera, et cetera. But I also recognize anyone could say that. So there's a lot of like nervous people about battery fires. So we're like, okay, well, LFP allows us to get around the whole entire battery fire thing. I mean, yes, a cell can go bad, but if it ever goes bad, it doesn't take out the entire pack and then therefore your entire house as well. So yeah, moving to LFP is just a safer technology as well. And you know, the LFP is not something like brand new. It's something that companies like BYD, I think you guys have heard of that company. They've moved their cars are made with LFP batteries. I think that's why like their price point could be so affordable. And on top of that, even Tesla is moved to LFP technology. So I believe in their Model Y and Model 3s, at least the affordable ones, the entry level ones, they're using LFP cells. So yeah, that's a good thing. So you know, by us doing that, we can get our price down to $3,900. Great. And just to prove to people that you know it's not like just smoke and mirrors, this is me riding the CR5 down along the streets. If you didn't know, we're based out of Chiang Mai, Thailand. So here we are on the road, and we've been telling people when you have the performance of something like the CR5, like here, like a car breaks in front of us, creates a hazard. You know, all you have to do is twist the throttle a little bit and just navigate the obstacle, and then we're fine. It's a total non-event. I mean, when I'm on my normal e-bike, I mean, that's kind of a big deal. I have to like think about braking and avoiding and hoping like people don't hit me from behind. And it's like, you know, with the CR5, you know, you just twist and go. And then you're just around the obstacle and you're fine. It's a total non-event. And, you know, that's the beauty of these high performance bikes. It's not about like, oh, zipping around at top speed all the time, but just being able to be on the road, navigate the roads, and yeah, it's like a total non-event. You have high visibility, everyone knows that you're there, and you can escape any road hazards that may present themselves to you on the road. So that's why I like these high performance bikes. So what we're going to do is we're going to get our bikes into the US and sell them. What that means is we're raising $2 million for this round, and what that's going to enable us to do is we're going to create a whole bunch of demo bikes. So we're going to create like 5 to 10 demo bikes, and we're going to create our US headquarters. So right now we're looking at things like California or even Texas, and then we'll rent a place out there, and that will be our new HQ, and then we'll land our bikes over there. We're going to also build out our app. So right now I believe we're at version 0.2. So we need to get our app developed out to 1.0, meaning consumer grade. And from there, we're going to get our bikes in front of people. So meaning we're going to do our videos or doing our photography, but then we're going to take it out to people like you guys who help support us in the beginning. And also we're going to bring it out to influencers, and we're going to do independent video reviews, because yeah, people want to see independent video reviews, not just like videos that we take, but you know, people who have carte blanche to like take it out, try out the bike, and then they're free to say what they want to say. We want to be very transparent about that, because you know, we want to build a great bike of great quality, and we want people to get the bike in their hands and see how great the quality really is. On top of that, we're going to take it out to trade shows and events. For example, we've already been invited to Electrify Expo, which holds events all over the country, from California all the way over to Florida. And these guys, I went to the one that they held in Austin because I was out in Austin in November. And in that one, they had like Tesla, they had Porsche, they had BMW, they had like a whole bunch of car brands, but also they had a bunch of e-bike brands as well. So, and they also had a test course for the e-bikes. So that was amazing. And when the guys over at Electrify Expo saw what we were doing, they're like, they saw our marketing campaign. They're like, oh, this is amazing. So what they've done now for this year is they created a high-speed e-bike course, and then they're with companies like Hyperspd in mind, so that we can bring out our bikes and people can test them for what they really are. And so that's exciting stuff. So we're going to be doing stuff like that, and that events like this are all over the country. So we'll be bringing it out so people of all types can just come by and demo our bikes as well. And once we're doing this sort of stuff, then we'll launch our sales campaign, and then we'll just start making our sales. So great stuff, and that's what we're in the middle of doing, raising our $2 million round. So what has been the result of this? So as I said, this was for the last few months we've been doing this, going out to investors and talking to them and whatnot. So now when I was out in the States, it was amazing. People saw the bike, they saw our material, they saw like what we're doing, they saw like the philosophy of the company, and they thought, oh yeah, great, this thing is awesome. They want to get back to us, and so that behooves us to go back out to the States and do fundraising over there. So I'm looking forward to that, and looks like I'll be heading out to the States in April to do that. So I'll be going around the United States and doing meeting investors and doing fundraising. I feel it's important to do this because some people have been asking us, well, Nati, why don't you just run like a Kickstarter campaign just based off what we have? Okay, we could. And I talked to my marketing team about that. And they've raised or they've ran several two-wheel e-mobility projects already, and they've raised typically they raise about $2 million per project, which is pretty good. We looked at the numbers for the CR5, and we're like, okay, based upon what we have right now, it's like, well, they reckon we can make about $500,000 if we were to go out onto a crowdfunding platform for our first campaign. Which to some of you guys, it might sound like, oh, $500,000, that's a lot. But once we run the numbers or something like that, unfortunately, the numbers they don't work out. We'd be losing money on every bike that we make, and looking at what's been going on in the marketplace or in the industry right now. I think it's more intelligent for us to give Hyperspd the best shot, which is, okay, let's run a proper campaign instead of rushing head first into like trying to get the bike and trying to get like $500,000 out of people. No, I want to make a great company. Hyperspd, we have a great team, and we want to make great products. What that means is we want to make sure that Hyperspd has the proper funding in order for us to move forward. So, why am I saying this? Well, let's take a look. So recently, I've been seeing things like, okay, you guys probably know this, like Cake filed for bankruptcy, and there's like some guy in Florida or something that bought up their stock or the remaining bikes and going to do something. But the fact that even bikes that are out on the market already, they're having a hard time. Not only selling but also getting funding. So to making sure that they can still do operations. to me is like it's a pretty big sign that yeah, we need to make sure that we have everything that we need in order to make Hyperspeed a successful company. On top of that, there's this story that was linked in the group recently about Onyx and how Onyx is pretty much cooked. Uh, so, and you know, and when you watch the video, it's like it goes into like several things about Onyx. I think one of the big things that stuck out to me was that yeah, they have a lot of legal and organizational issues. It seems as though like there's like an ownership battle of some sort in the company, and honestly, this is why it's not that like anyone with money can come to Hyperspeed and and go here you go, here's some money, and we'll take it. For me, I'm of the philosophy that investors have to be the right fit for us as a company, and has to be a good fit for the philosophy of the company as well. I mean, for us, we put customers first. We treasure like the customer experience, and we want to make great product. And we want to make sure that any investors that come in, they can honor that sort of company culture as well that we're establishing. So I don't want to run into things where like yeah, I have to fight with investors over like the way that the company is being run or the way the direction of the company. So I want to avoid like that altogether from the very get-go. And yeah, it's hard and it's harder to navigate, and it means like we have to knock down a lot of doors in order to find the right investors, but I know that we can. So there's that. On top of that, like it seems as though like Onyx is running into a lot of problems with manufacturing. So they're doing things like what is it? I remember they were originally trying to do like U.S. based manufacturing, and then they ran into problems, and now they're trying to do like Chinese manufacturing, and that caused a lot of problems. For me, that's why I felt it very important that when we created this Hyperspeed and the CR5, when we were doing development, we embedded ourselves into the Asian supply chain from the very get-go. What this means is that we already have all the industry contacts, we already have all the factory contacts, we even have assembly houses. They're good to go. They can scale with us as we need. So if we need to build like 100 bikes, they can. We need to build like 10,000 bikes, we can. So basically, we're good to go on that side. So no worries on that front whatsoever. That said, I mean, we've been talking to a bunch of investors over out here in Asia. Now, Asia is great for the supply chain side of things, but when it comes to the entrepreneurship side of things, that's a little bit sketchier, a little bit more iffy. Basically, we want to make sure that we get the right investors into the company so that we don't run into any problems. Also, on the manufacturing side of things, we already went to the factories, so we already found like we were able to pick and choose from the places that we need to get our parts from. We're talking about factories that already supply to like Honda, Yamaha, Suzuki. Also, there's factories from Ducati, BMWs, Harley Davidson. They all produce out here. So it's like, yeah, it's very easy for us to tap into the OEM supply chain. So yeah, that's not a problem. So we're good to go on that front. In other words, like instead of like us building a concept bike and then trying to figure out manufacturing at a later date, we kept manufacturing in mind from the very beginning, and then did our prototype, and now we're going to bring it out and do our additional fundraising out in the US. In Asia, it's interesting when we talk to investors out here because it's like, well, they don't quite understand US style entrepreneurship. What do I mean? It's like usually Asian companies or investors, what they're looking for is more of like a traditional business, meaning that okay, you have a factory, you produce a whole bunch, and then you sell them, right? So when us at Hyperspeed are like, oh, what we're going to do is we're going to build some demo bikes and then go out and do pre-sales through marketing activities so that we can generate a lot of sales first. That doesn't make any sense to them. They're like, huh? No, that does. How does that work? They think like, oh well, no. What you should do is you should build like a couple hundred bikes and then go out and then and then sell them. And if anything, go to like try to like get them into like some stores in the U.S. and sell it through retail. And basically, what they're looking for is traditional like export model, where you have a factory, you keep pumping them out, and then you rely upon other people to do the sales for you. And for us, it's like no, what we're going to do is we're going to improve sales first. We're going to do pre-orders for the bike, and we're going to do that. And then once we have demand, then we're going to take care of the manufacturing. So for us, it's like okay, we just have to go to a place that understands these things. So I'm off to the States. So if you guys want to meet up with me, the guys who supported me, or you guys from the community, do let me know. And and if I'm in the area, I'll let you guys, and I'll try to meet with you guys basically. On top of that, let's see, if you guys have any questions for me before then that you would like for me to answer, do let me know. Happy to field those questions either in the comments, or if it's something that I feel is really important, then I'll just make another video, and we'll just keep in contact that way as we move along. So thanks a lot for supporting us, and thanks a lot for all the interest that you guys have given Hyperspd. And I hope to see you guys in the near future, and I'll keep you guys in the loop as things progress on the investment front. So see you guys later. Peace.